Hey, hey, hey. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Friday. The weekend is here. That's something to be excited about. Again, I'm live on YouTube, also live on TikTok. So if you see me looking around, I'm just trying to look at the other camera. Same thing here. So I wanted to talk about intentional living in this video. Make sure you guys like and share the live. Like and share, like and share, like and share. So yeah, I wanted to talk about intentional living. And I think that this subject is extremely, extremely crucial, especially for my young ladies out there. All my ladies, it doesn't matter your age. Um, I think that a lot of my content preaches to women a lot. There are a couple of men who keep up with my content as well. But I think that women really, 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 especially in society nowadays, women have to be extremely intentional. Women have to be extremely, extremely, extremely intentional. And everybody who's joining in and coming in, feel free to drop your questions. Feel free to ask whatever questions. Try to keep it on the subject of intentions. If it's about something else, you can talk about it too. I don't mind, I don't care. But yes, women have to be extremely intentional. People have to be extremely intentional. Like, what does intentional living even mean? I didn't start living my life with intention, if I'm being completely honest. I didn't start living my life with intention until like maybe a year and a half ago. That's like when I really, 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 really got serious about my life. Was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, where I'm like, okay, everything that I do has to make sense. Everything that I do has to make sense. And I think that every woman has to get to that point where you're like, okay, everything that I do has to make sense. Intentional living is living where you're not just doing things to do them, but you have a reason behind everything that you do. Everything that you do is with intention. You have to move with intention. Now, when it comes to intentional living, there is a spiritual side of intentional living, and then there's a physical side of intentional living. So, when it comes to the spiritual side of intentional living, being intentional with everything that you do, there's a reason behind it. And in case you guys didn't know, for everybody who follows and keeps up with me on YouTube or TikTok or my website, um, everything I do is with intention. I'm a very, very, very intentional person. Even the colors that I pick for certain videos represent something. The colors that I use, the colors, everything that I do, there's intention behind it all. And you have to live a life that's very intentional. You have to live a life of intention. A lot of people, they just live their lives however, whatever, doesn't matter what happens, what doesn't happen. They're just living life. But you, especially as women, have to live life with intention. That's very important to live an intentional life, because if you're not living a life of intention and you're not living an intentional life, then whatever life hands you, you're going to take it and deal with it and live with it, as opposed to actually being intentional. Now, one of the major ways that I practice intention is also by jotting things down in what I like to call scripting, or writing your affirmations, or writing your desires, or journaling. I have heard so many people say, oh, well, affirmations don't work. Journaling doesn't work. Writing what you want doesn't work. Well, I can't judge anybody for saying that, but that has not been my experience. Everything that I write down comes to life because I put intention behind what I write, and I take my spiritual practices very, very seriously. So, ladies, gentlemen, don't just hold on to what you want in here. Write it down. We're talking about intentional living. One of the great ways to live an intentional life is to have a journal. Guess where I got this from? Guess where I got this journal? I got this journal from the Dollar Tree. It's a plain journal, brown, empty pages. Empty pages that will soon be filled with my intentions. What is an intention? Let's talk about examples of intention. When you used to be a big girl and you lost all that weight and you got up one day and you say, I don't want to look like this ever again. I want to get this weight off of me. I want to look better. I want to feel better. And you started going to the gym and you dropped all the weight and you were eating healthy. That was an intention that you set, and that's why you got the results. That's called intentional living. Now, there are some people who don't live with intention. Those are those people where you're talking to them, you're dating him. Those are the I just go with the flow people. Those are people who don't live with intention. They just let life pull them in different directions. They just go with it. I don't go with it. I pick it, I choose it, and I steward it. That's called intentional living, right? When you don't live with intention, everything goes for you, right? That's why when I meet people who are like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going with the flow." I'm like, "Girl, you go ahead and go with the flow. I'm going to be over here making sure that what I want happens, but you can go ahead and go with the flow. Have fun going with the flow. I'll be over here making sure that what I want happens." That's the difference between certain people. Certain people, they live with intention, and there are certain people where they just let life guide them. I'm not like that. Everything that I do is intentional. Every relationship that I have is intentional. I'm so intentional with my life that even the people that I go for my services are intentional. I'm intentional with the person that does my lashes, the person that does my brows, the person that does my nails, my doctors. I have really good relationships with every single service provider that I have because I'm intentional about the people that I mingle with. I'm intentional with it. I have a good relationship with all my doctors, my dentist, my dermatologist, my primary care physician, my gynecologist, my nail tech, my lash tech, my brow tech. Every single relationship that I have in my life is divine. I only do divine relationships. I don't do relationships if they're not divine because I'm a divine being. I'm a divine person. So all of my relationships have a spiritual basis to it. It's called intentional living. Now let's go deeper into. So let's talk about writing your intentions down. When it comes to intentional living and seeing your intentions come into play in your life, I always recommend getting a journal. When you get this journal, this brown journal, whatever journal you get, make sure it's pretty small. It doesn't have to be big. Don't share what's in here with anybody. This needs to be hidden. You never share your intention journal with anybody. Nobody in this world gets to know what your heart desires. Do not share it. You guys know I'm a very private person. I don't share my intentions or my desires with anybody because I just don't like doing it. I'm a very secretive person. I don't like it. I like to stay secretive and as mysterious as I'm naturally secretive and mysterious naturally, but I just don't like sharing my intentions, my heart's desires with people. I feel like it's very sacred. And you shouldn't share your intentions with anybody, and you shouldn't share your dreams. They should all be in one place. So you can always look at them. Now, when it comes to writing down your intentions, I like to write my intentions in a book like this that I can always have access to, and that nobody else has access to but me. And then when it comes to actually writing your intentions, I am such a detailed person. This is gonna sound so freaking strange and spooky, but that's just how my mind works. I'm detailed and I'm as deep as the Atlantic Ocean. I'm deep and detailed about everything. Like I said, everything I do is intentional. So I have my intention journal where I write down my intentions. And then I have specific colors that I use for everything that I write. So let's say your intention is to have more money, to get more money, to manifest more sources of income, to expand your account and move forward. And you're going to write those intentions down. You should always, for me personally, I like having everything represent. I would use green. What does green represent? Green represents growth. Green represents money. Green represents wealth. Green represents expansion. That's why plants are green, because they grow, right? Green represents oxygen, right? So if I'm going to write in my intention book and I'm trying to, I don't know, close a deal, do something major that is in regards to money, I will use green pen. Now, let's say it has to deal with health. Let's say you want to be more healthy, you want to lose weight, you want to have better skin. Maybe you're going through like a personal medical issue that you're believing God to heal you from. You can use orange. Write down with orange. Orange represents health. Orange represents good health. Orange represents a good flow of a lifestyle. Orange also represents like the sun, brightness, and health. So, very intentional. If you're trying to do that, I would use an orange pen to write that intention. And then, of course, pink. Pink is great for everything love related. If you are trying to set intentions to love yourself more, if you're trying to set intentions to love other people more, if you're trying to set intentions to cultivate just more love in your life, more love in your space, I would always write in my intention book with a pink pen or a pink highlighter. And then last but not, I mean, these colors really all depends on you. At the end of the day, it's really your intention that you write down that will matter the most. So it really depends on you. But I have my specific colors in my mind that represent specific things. I would also use blue. For me, the color blue just represents tranquility. It represents, for me, blue represents peace. Blue represents calmness and stillness and ease. And if I'm trying to set an intention for a week or a period of time in my life where I just want to be cool, calm, collective, at ease, tranquil, I will use a blue pen to set that intention. And I write it all in this book. And I pray over it and I speak over it and I read it to myself and I believe for something amazing, and it always happens. Now, there are certain people who are like, oh, like affirmations don't work. Writing your intentions don't work. That stuff doesn't work. Well, everybody is allowed to have their own opinion, right? But for me, it works. And it just requires consistency. There's a lot of things in my life that transpired because I wrote down the intention and I went over it daily and I ensured that I got it in my spirit. So it's really all about being intentional. That's how intentional living is. Even the Bible, when the woman with the issue of blood grabbed God's garment, she was intentional. Like, she knew that if I could just touch his garment, if I could just touch what he was wearing, just even if I could just hold on to it for a couple of seconds, I will be healed. What did she have? She had intention. That woman had intention. Intention is one of the most powerful things that you could ever have in life is intention. I don't know how people live their life, however, without being intentional about everything. So I always write all my intentions down in my journal and I keep it hidden. Nobody will ever read this. Nobody will ever find this. Nobody will ever know anything about this because all of my soul secrets and desires are in this book. And I would never allow anybody to have access to that. And that's another thing about intentional living. A lot of people are not for you. So you don't want them knowing what you want. That's for sure. So, yeah, that's also part of intentional living is to write things down, go over what you're writing, and believing that it's going to happen for you. Intentional living. And then again, I'm intentional even with the colors that I use when I write down my soul's desires and what they are. And they will happen and they have happened and they will continue to happen. Nothing's going to get in the way of that. And that's how you have to think when you live an intentional life. A lot of women, you're not intentional. That's why you let people waste your time. And another scary part, another scary part of intentional living, I'm going to tell you what it is. Another very scary part about intentional living or knowing the power of intention. I know the power of intention because I have seen my life shift when I made a decision or intention to do something. I've seen the atmosphere of my life shift. So I know that intention is powerful. Because I know the power of intention, that's why I'm talking to you guys about it today. Intention is spiritual. When you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically all together make your mind up to do something, that means that you are doing something with intention behind it. Intention is powerful, it's spiritual. That's why I believe in journaling. I believe in scripting. I believe in affirmations. I believe that if whatever you're doing, you do it with an intention behind it, it will happen. Now, here is the plot twist. Because I'm such a strong believer in intention, and because I know how powerful intention is, it's very difficult for me to reconcile with people because I know that if someone crosses me, it was intentional. People are very intentional when they do things to you. I want you to be very clear on that. I'm not saying that I'm hard on people. I'm just saying that I know people more than they know themselves. I have that spiritual ability. So I know that when someone goes out of their way to cross me, they did it with intention. Once I realize that it was with intention, I get out the way of that person. That person no longer has access to me anymore. Because what they did was intentional. That's the power of intention. A lot of times when people do things to you, you think, oh, they didn't think about that. Yeah, they did. They did. They did. You have to be intentional with your life. You have Hi, beautiful. I have learned so much from your videos. Oh, thank you. You have to have intention with everything you do. That's why a lot of times people are like, oh, you're so serious. Of course I'm serious. This is my life we're talking about. Why would I not be serious? This is my life. I take my life seriously. I take my life very seriously. That's why I'm willing to remove myself from negative environments, negative people. That's why I don't reconcile with people because I take my life seriously. When you don't take your life seriously and you don't live your life with intention, you're a revolving door, babe. People are in and out of your life like you're a train station because you don't take your life seriously. But once you take your life seriously, you understand that even your relationships have to be intentional. Your friendships have to be intentional. Who you date has to be intentional. Who you have around you has to be intentional. I'm intentional about everything. That's why a lot of people don't have access to me. I won't give you the access because I'm intentional. And I'm intentional about removing certain people out of my life as well. You don't get to have access to me. I have to decide that. Hello. Hi. Hi, Chris. How do you deal with toxic coworkers when you're brand new at a job with experience? That's a really good question. Dealing with toxic coworkers can go in many different ways. The first way to deal with toxic coworkers, in my opinion, is to focus on your job and nothing else. Make sure that you do your job with intention. Make sure we're talking about intention today, by the way, but make sure you do your job with intention. Make sure you do your job with integrity and make sure you do a very, very good job, meaning you do your job so well that there's rarely any faults. Because usually when you're dealing with toxic coworkers, they will try to nitpick your work. And if they find any type of fault or problem in your work, they will use that as leverage to come against you. So, Chris, to deal with toxic coworkers, I would definitely make sure you do the best job ever. And I would also, yeah, word of the day is intention. This whole video, everything we're talking about right now is intention. So again, if it's intention, if you're working with intention, go to work, do the best job, have the intention to do the best job, and get up out of there. You know, you're at work to make money, you're at work to pay your bills. Think about it in simple terms. Don't think about it as, oh, well, I need to be friends with these people or these people have to be a part of my family. They don't. You're at work to do a job, to get paid, to get your salary and go home. That's how I would think about it. Dealing with toxic work coworkers, you have to feed into it, stay out of the drama. Don't gossip by the coffee cooler with other people. Don't gossip at all about anything. Stay out the way. Make sure you're on time. Make sure you leave work when you're supposed to leave. Make sure you do a good job and make sure you keep it as that and keep personal conversations to a minimum. That's how I would deal with a toxic work environment. But if the work environment gets so toxic to the point where you literally like it's literally affecting your mental health, then you may want to look for another position. I hope that helped. Maybe document what they did, keep an email trail, and pray. Yeah, that's a good idea as well, Drew. Yeah, document, keep an email trail. But again, remember when it comes to the workplace, there's a lot of retaliation. So the best thing to do is just let things roll off your shoulder. Like, don't try to battle anything. Let God fight your battles. Pray and ask God to fight for you, and God will put everything back to where it's supposed to be. Don't take it into your own hands. I used to be one of those people where I would try to take vengeance into my own hands and I would try to take matters into my own hands. It never works. So just let God handle it and pray and ask God to silence your enemies in the workplace and ask God to make the path for you. And He will. Okay, how to manifest your dream career as a Black woman? Oh, that's a beautiful question. I love that. How to manifest your dream career as a Black woman or any woman, but you said Black woman. So the first way to manifest your dream career, I don't know what your name is. Sorry if I can't like address you directly. I don't know what your username is, but your question is, and for everybody coming in, her question was how to manifest your dream career as a Black woman. So the first thing we're talking about intention today. So the first thing I would do would be to get an intention journal, like the one that I have here. I literally got this from Dollar Tree for $1, and it's literally brand new. I would write down exactly what it is that you want to do or the career that you want to be in. And I want you to be very clear about what you write down. When you're living intentional, everything has to have clarity. You can't just do anything or write down anything. You can't say, okay, I want my favorite job. Let's say you write, I want my favorite job. You could have your favorite job, but your boss is mean. Your coworkers are mean. Your favorite job is in a different city. You have to be very intentional when it comes to manifesting anything. You need to know exactly what it is, and you got to make sure you put God at the center. So that's how you would manifest your dream career, is write down what it is that you want, how you want it, where you want it, the environment that you want it, the kind of people that you want it in. You write that intention. You talk like you already have it. You walk like you already have it. You believe that you already have it. And remember, when you're setting intentions, you're not saying, I want, I want, I want, because want is telling life that you're lacking it. You say, I have, not I want. You say, I have, I am. I have, I am. Always go through life with I have, I am. There's no I want or I wish. There's none of that when it comes to intentional living. Second, you said how to manifest your dream as a career as a Black woman. The second thing that I would add on to that is don't tell anyone. I don't know if you've ever been on my platform before, but like I said, society likes to try and sabotage Black women. Society likes to try and dismantle Black women. And if you're beautiful and smart and intelligent on top of it, it's going to be worse. So society likes to try and rip the Black woman's head off, especially if they're trying to do something important. So if you're manifesting your dream career, write it down, set the intention, but don't tell anyone about it. Don't share it with anyone, because like I said, people like to try and form a weapon against the Black woman. That's just how it is. That's just life. I don't know why it's like that. Ask God, but that's just how it is. So I always tell Black women to move in silence, gatekeep, don't share anything with anybody. If anything good happens to you, don't tell anybody about it, because people want to sabotage the Black woman. That's just how it is. Because remember, society feels like you're undeserving. Society sees Black women as undeserving, right? So because society feels like you don't deserve anything, when you're about to have something good, people try to get in the way of it. So don't tell anyone. Manifest quietly. If you're a Black woman, you don't manifest loudly. You manifest quietly. I see that I have a chat here. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Uh, Yes, God fight my battles. God fought my battles at my job many times. Yes. I definitely think that if you give God the wheel, that God will come in. And there are so many things that I pray to God about, that he just came in and he just took over everything, and he completely changed the direction of everything. So if you're ever experiencing persecution at a job, I would definitely pray to God about it. God can either take you out of that job and bring you to something better, or he can get in the middle of that whole situation and have it work out for you. Remember, God makes all things work out for our good, even if it looks like it's not working out for your good and you don't understand why it's happening. And I think a lot of us have um, ended up in situations in life where we didn't understand what was happening or why it was happening or how this could be anything good can come out of it. But God really does make all things work out for your good. And even if it's not making sense in that moment, it will make sense later on. So just let God take the wheel. If you're experiencing any type of persecution, just talk to God and he will fight for you. Yes, me too. Peace over revenge. Vengeance is mine, says the Most High. Exactly. God does say vengeance is mine. I'm not going to lie. I've had in the past a very vindictive personality. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with my chart. But a lot of times when someone would cross me in a very, very serious way, I would say, okay. And I would just write that person down on my list. And I'm like, I'm going to get you. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I will. And I'm not going to miss the shot either, because I got good aim. So I will make sure that I get you when the time allows me to do so. But then as I got older and I grew in my faith, I'm like, that's a that's very vindictive. That's a very vindictive spirit. And that's how I used to be. I'm not saying that sometimes it doesn't come to the surface, but I don't like being messed with. I think that I'm a very genuine person and I mind my business and I don't bother anyone and I don't hurt anyone. So when someone tries to come against me, in the past, I would take matters into my own hands. And if I couldn't get them back in that moment, I would just wait. Even if it's 15 years, I'm like, I'm going to get you once I have the opportunity. But I'm not like that anymore. I think that God has the best vengeance. So God gets people back so much better than you will, honestly. So don't even do it. And by not being vengeful, you give God more room to work with you when your heart is in a different placement compared to when your heart wants revenge. And it's normal to feel like you want revenge. Like we're all human. Like sometimes you're gonna feel that way. Sometimes you're gonna feel that way. Your hair looks beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to go through you guys' comments. Yes. So yeah, so back to what I was saying about intentional living. You just have to get to a point mentally where you're not doing things just to do it. You know how when you were in high school and college, you just do things to just do it? Like you didn't really have a reason behind what you did. You just did it to do it. When you start living your life with intention, you no longer do things just to do it. You do things that make sense. You do things that are for the bettering of your life. You do things that will push you further to that dream life that you so desire. You're no longer doing things just to do them. It's like for a lot of you ladies that you're dating and you're talking to the guy and you're like, okay, well, like, what do you want like right now in your life? Like, what are your goals right now? And the guy's like, oh, I don't know, I'm just chilling. That you're about to get your time wasted. He has no intention of nothing. And what a lot of women will do is a lot of women end up being a part of situations that don't have an intention in the situation. That's something that a lot of women do. I don't live a non-intentional life. Everything in my life is intentional. Every relationship I have is intentional. Anybody who has my number in their phone that is able to freely text me at any time, they are in my life because I want them to be there. People don't pick me, I pick people. Because I live an intentional life. People don't pick me, I pick people. And if someone picks me, God will let me know if I'm truly a part of their tribe. I don't want to be a part of anybody's tribe that I'm not supposed to be a part of. I live my life with intention. I don't want to be at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people in the wrong environment. That is how you delay yourself in life. When you are living a life with no intention, you're not intentional about anything. You just get up in the morning. You're not even like, okay, today I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to get this done, I want to get that done today. This is my goal for today. This is what I need to get done for this week. This is what I need to get done before the end of the month. You're just living your life with no intention and with no regard. Don't waste your life. Don't waste your life. I meet so many people and they're like, oh, well, like you're not friendly. And why aren't you friendly with this person? You're not. I'm like, because I live my life with intention. I don't want to be everybody's friend. I don't need to be anybody's friend. And I wasn't created to be everybody's friend. I live my life with intention. Every relationship that I have is meaningful. Even the lady that does my lashes, when I go and I get my lashes done, you guys know me, I don't trust people. When I go and I get my lashes done, I lay on the lash bed and I knock out and I fall asleep and I'm snoring the whole session. Why? Because that's an intentional relationship. That's a relationship that's meant to be in my life. That's an intentional bond. I trust this person. So I can lay on their lash bed and fall asleep without having the fear of anything funny happening because I know her spirit. God has given me the ability to see people in their spirit. So I'm intentional even with my relationships. I'm not close with everybody. I'm not friends with everybody. I don't share my life with everybody. I'm not a walking open book. If you are an open book and you just share yourself with everybody like your toilet paper, that's fine. But I live my life with intention. So every single relationship that I have in my life is ordained. And every relationship that I have in my life is with intention. I don't go into rooms like, oh, I want to be friends with everybody in here. I'm not a child. I'm not in middle school and high school. I don't need a big group of people behind me. Every relationship that I have in my life is intentional. So intentional and so deep that if that person is like, hey, like I need this, or hey, I need that, or if I have to hop on a plane and fly 5 states down to take care of that person, I will do that because I have intentional relationships in my life. I'm not an open book. I'm not close with everybody. I don't give everybody bonds because I live my life with intention. When I get up in the morning, I'm intentional. This live is intentional. Yesterday, I'm like, I'm going to go on live tomorrow and I'm going to talk about intention. You have to have intention behind everything that you do. You can't just live a life where you're just living it and you're letting life go by. That's how you waste your life when you live life with no intention. That's why I say get yourself a journal, write your intentions down, write your money intentions down green. See, I'm even intentional about the colors that I write with. Green. You want money to come in, you want growth, you want your life to be revamped, you want renewal. Green also represents renewal. That's why plants are green. That's why the trees are green. Think about everything that you know that's green. Money is green, growth, renewal, prosperity, green, right? In green. You are trying to bring into your life love. And when I talk about love, because a lot of women are so boy crazy, they always think that I'm talking about just romance. Sometimes you just need love, period. Love from a friend, love from a family member, love from a mother, love from a father, love from a sibling, just the atmosphere of love. It doesn't have to be romantic all the time. Write it down. The pink pen. I have love. I have great people in my life. I have people who love me. I have people who admire me. I have people in my life who are my destiny helpers, who love and cherish my every being. You write it down. That's setting an intention. And those people will come in. Okay? Intention is a big thing. And stop sharing your intentions and desires with people. It's a bad ideal. Learn to live a private life, okay? I already talked about that in another live about learning to live a life of privacy, because privacy brings you ease. Okay, privacy keeps you safe. I love the eyeliner. You are glowing. Thank you, sweetie. That's so sweet. But yes, being intentional. Like, that's why I always tell people I'm not an advocate for just sleeping around with people. That means you don't live your life with intention when you're just giving every man out there a piece of your essence. And yes, that is essence. We all have essence. Some of us have different essence than others. I know me, I vibrate. I vibrate on a very, very high spiritual frequency, and my light is very bright. My spiritual light is very bright. That's why I'm so intentional. Remember, this live is on intention. I am so intentional about who I allow around me, who I communicate with, who I exchange energy with, who I'm friends with, who I exchange information about my personal life to. I have intention for everything that I do because I live my life with intention. I'm not just connecting myself, intertwining myself with everybody. And I see a lot of women who are going through life, and you're letting men with very, very, very dirty, spiritually filthy private parts into your essence. That's not intentional living, sleeping around with random men who are depositing their disgusting deposits into your body. These men who are narcissistic, who have not done any type of spiritual work, who are not in alignment with God in any way, they have no relationship with God, no spirituality. They have very nasty diets. They don't eat well. They don't work out. They're smoking and drinking and doing all types of low vibrational things. And then you go and lay on your back and spread your legs for that man for fun. That's not intentional living. No, that's not living with intention. Intentional living is understanding the power of your essence as a woman. We all have essence. I can't just let somebody have access to my essence. And the more intentional you become, the more spiritual you become, the more connected to God you become, the higher you vibrate. Your essence becomes more and more tasty. And people just want to taste you because your essence, spiritually, it's good, which is why you have to gatekeep and be careful. I always tell women, you have to gatekeep, and not everybody has access to you. That's also intentional living. Intentional living is when you are with a man and you end up sleeping with that man and giving him access to your benefit, and you give him access to your essence, your sweet essence. It's worth it. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful experience. It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful experience when you give the right man access to your womb and you're not just going around living a non-intentional life, having sex with random men. It's ratchet. It's a very ratchet way to live. It's very ratchet to live your life with no intention. It's ratchet. It is ratchet. Everything I do has an intention. I don't do things just to do things. I always tell people that. Like this people in my life who are special to me, I have their names all in my calendar and my phone with their birthday to make sure all the people in my life who are also mothers, I have their names in my phone for Mother's Day to get flowers delivered to their homes a year in advance because I'm intentional with my relationships and I'm intentional with everything that I do has an intention behind it. I am the kind of person you want on your team. You definitely don't want to be my enemy. That's a terrible place to be, not only physically, but spiritually. It's not a good idea to be my enemy. But I live a life of intention. Everything that I do is intentional. And ladies, you have to start being intentional with your life and stop wasting time. Stop wasting time in investing in things that's not bringing a return for you. Stop wasting time on people, friendships, environments, family that you know is not good for you. Why do it? Why do it? Why do you want to do that? Why would you want to invest in something that you're not intentional about and that you know does not bring the better good? And I'm not like being mean. I told you guys I'm just a very passionate person, and I just hate when I see especially women and men investing in things that don't serve their purpose. I don't understand the benefit of it. I don't. Is there any lady on the live? I know we don't have, I know I didn't tell you guys what time I was coming on, and a lot of people are getting off work, but is there any lady on the live that would actually want to come live on TikTok to ask a question? I've never done that before. But this would definitely be the first time if any of you ladies want to come on and just request to join the live, and you can ask your question. But like I said, that's a really big thing that I want women to really, really, really be intentional about everything. Let everything that you do, let everything that you do be intentional. Don't just do things just to do things. Your friendships, your job, your relationships, who you give your time to, who you um who you give your time to. Let it all be with intention. Don't live a non-intentional life. Don't live a life where you're just going with the flow. Live a life of intention. Every morning you get up. Ooh, pardon me. I'm sorry, guys. Live a life that's intentional. And be stingy with yourself. That's another thing that a lot of women need to start learning to do. Be stingy with yourself. If you know that you are a person of quality, you need to be stingy with yourself. I'm a person of quality, and I have so much depth. I'm as deep as the Pacific Ocean. I'm so deep. I'm such a deep person. And I think that that's why I don't give people access to me. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to gain access to me. It's isn't going with the flow feminine energy. No, it's not. Going with the flow is this guy is inviting me to my house and he says he wants to have sex. So I'm just going to have sex with him and go and see what happens. That's not feminine, baby. That is masculine, and that's being a whore. Going with the flow is not feminine energy. Feminine energy is actually creating your own flow, creating your own vibration. And it's either people fit into your flow or they don't. That's feminine energy. Feminine energy is creating your own tune, dancing to the beat of your own drum. Feminine energy is creating your atmosphere of softness and ease and smoothness. And it's either that man fits into that or he doesn't. Feminine energy is not going with the flow. Going with the flow is how you get used, abused, and manipulated, ma'am. That's not feminine energy, is not going with the flow. Feminine energy is I have my own flow. I've manifested this beautiful flow, and you're either going to fit into this and make my flow easier. Remember, feminine energy is about softness and ease, or you're going to get out of my face. And that's where the masculine energy comes in. Boundaries. Thank you for your time and wisdom. Absolutely. Thank you for joining in. I'm currently cutting down people's access to me. Yes, exactly. Because I live a life of intention, I started living a life of intention. I don't give everybody access to me. And yes, that's offensive to certain people because people just want me to be open. I am as deep as the ocean. I always tell people that I'm such a deep person, which is why, I'm so quiet. And the only way I really talk is like when I'm behind a camera. I'm an introvert. So I really don't talk to people because my mind is wandering and thinking about so many different things. Like I can be sitting at a dinner party and I'm not saying anything because in my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder what temperature the moon is. And that's what I'm thinking about. And people are like, why is she not talking? But like mentally, I'm on a completely other planet in a good way. I'm intentional. I don't give everybody my conversation, my access, my time, my energy. I am cautious with that. I'm speaking in general, not in regards to a man. Oh, okay. So you mean in general. Okay. So going with the flow. Yeah, I mean, in a way, I think that feminine energy is very intentional. I think feminine energy is just creating an atmosphere that works for you. The atmosphere where you feel the most creative. Remember, feminine energy is a creative. So yes, you are going with the flow, but that's how I would say it. You butte. That's how I would say it. It's not that you're going with the flow. Feminine energy is going with your flow. Whatever flow you create, that's the flow that you're going with. The frequency that you create and manifest for yourself, that's the flow. So yes, you're not going with the flow, you're going with your flow, if that makes sense. And create your flow. So when you are going with the flow of your feminine, I want you guys to really, and this is also intentional living, purchase candles that smell really, really good. Purchase candles, plants, flowers. Have certain times where you go in your room and you light a couple of beautiful candles. You can even put intention in your candles. Light beautiful candles, intentional candles, put on some beautiful jazz music or Clea Soul. I love her. I think she's super feminine energy vibes. And grab your intention book and just write to yourself. Write what you want. Write what you love. Write what you desire. Write what you're feeling. Write what you'd want to feel. Write what your dream life is. Write it down. Get in that flow. Put your body oil on. That's all feminine energy. Now, when you stay in that frequency and you walk outside and a dusty tries to talk to you, you're going to be like, what are you doing? They're absolutely going to interrupt that flow, which is why I said you're not going with the flow and feminine energy. You're going with your flow. So the minute someone comes in and their frequency just does not match your beautiful frequency that you created with yourself, it's like, get out of here, right? So that's why I'm saying you're not going with the flow. You're going with your flow. Okay? You're going with your flow. Makes sense. Okay, perfect. I'm happy that it made sense. And by the way, you guys, this live will be saved. So if you're coming in late, just go to my YouTube page and you can watch it. How do you go about cutting off negative people that are hard to cut off? They keep checking in. I don't believe that anyone's hard to cut off. If I want to cut someone off, you're getting cut off. It doesn't matter if you're family, friend, I don't care. Like, I don't believe that anyone's hard to cut off. This is my life and it's my movie. So I pick the cast. You don't really get to just be a part of it because you want to be. So if someone's negative and they're bringing bad energy into your life, then that should be easy. So that should be easy to cut off. Like, what makes them hard to cut off? Are they like your baby's father, where you have to continue to communicate with him? Is it an ex-husband? Is it a mother? Is it a dad? Because then I can kind of like get it. But unless they're in those major roles in your life, people are not hard to cut off. People are actually very easy to cut off. I cut people off easily because you're not going to interrupt my vibration and come in and infect the peace that I've created and the peace that God has given me. I'm going to protect it. I'm not going to just let you come in and alter my energetic space. That's why for me, my energy is very sacred. Like I said, my energy is very sacred. I don't give many people access to me. I'm a very cautious person. I move with caution. And the minute someone comes in and you try to alter, disrupt, or interrupt my peace in the energetic field that I've created, you will never have access to me again. That's why I don't believe in reconciliation. I don't reconcile with people. If you come in and I'm in my flow and you try to interrupt it, I'm gonna forgive you and we're gonna move past it, but you don't get access to me again. Because I feel like the right people will come into your life and they're not gonna interrupt your peace. They're gonna add on to your peace. They're gonna feel like home. Okay. So the minute someone crosses me or you try to like, bother me or target me or just be freaking annoying, you will never be in my space again. Ever. And that's where my masculine comes in. There are a lot of people in the past who tried to interrupt me, being in my flow, being in my ease, being in my element. I'm in my element. You came in, you tried to interrupt my flow. I forgive you, but I'm not reconciling with you. I want you to stay as far away from me as possible. And that is where feminine energy turns into boundaries. I feel like for women who are feminine, you still have to have concrete boundaries. You not just because you're feminine does not mean you're a pushover. So how do you go about cutting off negative people that are hard to cut off? Nobody's hard to cut off. You just cut them off. And if they keep checking in, you don't tell them anything. It's called no access. Wow, that's my routine. Oh, candles and plants. How do you be consistent with self-care? Like to always be put together. It's a decision that you make. You just wake up in the morning and you say, I gotta put my makeup on, I gotta brush my hair. You're not gonna feel like that every day. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some days you're gonna be tired and you're just gonna want to lay in your bed and not do anything. But consistency, I always tell people, consistency, whatever it is that you want to be consistent in, as long as you take emotions out of yourself, you'll always be consistent. Like I went to the gym earlier. I did not want to work out. I wanted to lay in bed as long as possible. But I said, I don't care about how I'm feeling. I'm going to do this anyways. So the way to be consistent with self-care is to say, I don't feel like putting on makeup, but I'm going to put it on. I don't feel like doing my hair, but I'm going to do my hair. You just take emotions out of everything. Consistency requires no emotion. If you're too emotional, you'll never be able to be consistent. Child's father's family. Okay, so if your child's father's family is toxic and they're no good, remember, you're in a relationship with or I don't know if you guys are still together, but you're in a relationship with your child's father, not his family. So if they are making your mental health, if they're draining your mental health and you're the mother, so your kid needs you first, okay? The kids need their moms before they need anybody else. And I know a lot of dads get mad at that. I know that dads are important. I'm not saying they're not, but moms come first, period. Don't battle me on that. So your kids need you to be in a very healthy mental state. So if your child's father's family is stressing you, causing you to be depressed, anxious, overwhelming you, how are you going to perform as the best mother under those circumstances? That's where you have to make a decision to tell your child's father, listen, this is the deal. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm not dealing with. And it's either you agree or you don't agree, but I have to be in the best mental state for my children. So here are my rules. And you go like that. That's the best advice I can say. For me, it's so difficult to stay positive. I absorb all people's energy. So if you feel like you're absorbing all people's energy, you need to guard your spirit. I used to be that way. I don't absorb people's energy because I don't give people access to me. And I know how to, I close my spirit off to people. I don't just let people in. I don't just let people approach me. I don't just let people in my face like a clown. I don't allow that. I'm very like, stay back, so it's an energy that you have to be in where you can walk into places with a lot of people and you don't take nothing on because you're centered in your spirit. Because if you're feeling like you're taking on too many people's energy, that can mean that you're not closing your spirit. You have to close your spirit and you have to stop people pleasing. Okay? How do you deal with monitoring spirits on Instagram? You block them. Anytime you feel like someone is a monitoring spirit, you block them. There are a lot of people that I have blocked and they don't know why. Or I have followed and unfollowed them and they don't know why. I can tell, I can look at some if every time someone's profile picture pops up and I feel a weird feeling and I don't know why, it's like my heart races every time I see their profile picture. That's spirit telling me this person's weird, and I just block that person or I don't allow them to follow me anymore. So the way that you deal with monitoring spirits on Instagram is to block them and keep blocking fake pages. Yes, no reconciliations. Yeah, I don't reconcile with people. That's not really my thing. I forgive, but I don't really. Reconciliation is a very rare. It's very rare that I'm like, you know what? Let's move past it. It's very rare that I do that with people, because it's like if I feel like you've crossed me in a way that was vindictive in nature. Let's say you go out of way and try to ruin a business plan for me. Let's say you try to public humiliate me. Let's say that you try to set me up. Things like that, that I don't reconcile with snakes. I would never allow a snake to bite me twice. So I don't reconcile with snakes. That's why I said I don't believe in reconciliation. I believe in forgiveness, but I don't believe in reconciliation. No, I don't. Once someone tries me, that's all you're going to get. You're not going to get a second opportunity to come against me. I have too much of a good heart for people like that. So I believe in boundaries. Once someone crosses me, there is no reconciliation. I reconcile with people who are extremely close to me, people who I have deep love for, like my immediate family, and we got it. We're all each other has, so we got to move forward. But there are some people where it's like, I don't care if I never hear from you in life till the day I die. I don't even remember you. So I'm not going why am I going to fight to reconcile with someone who's like not as important to me? So I reconcile with my immediate family. That's it. I don't do reconciliation. I do forgiveness, but I don't do reconciliation. I don't. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people don't understand that, but I don't do reconciliation. I'm sorry. I don't believe in reconciling. I don't. I just don't. It's always been like, why would I reconcile with a snake that bit me? It's like you go in your garden, you see a black snake, it bites the hell out of you. You go to the hospital to get the venom sucked out, you recover, and then you go back into your garden and you see the same black snake again, and you're like, oh, hey, and then it bites you again. That's how I see reconciliation. I don't believe in reconciliation. I believe in forgiveness. I don't reconcile with people. I've never reconciled with someone in my whole life, and I'm never going to, because I don't believe in it. I believe that people who truly love and value me are not going to intentionally cross me. Now, I'm not saying that people aren't going to do things. People are human. Yes, you will meet people who genuinely make a mistake, and they will genuinely, authentically say, can you please forgive me? I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to do that to you. I didn't mean to hurt. You can tell when somebody is being sincere. I don't reconcile with people. Once a snake, always a snake. And it definitely depends on what you did. If it's like, okay, you were supposed to come to some event I had and you didn't come because what, okay, whatever, I could get over that. Or if like, we're on the phone or whatever, and something happens, I don't hear from you for a couple of weeks, like whatever, like small stuff. But when someone tries to dismantle me, when someone tries to publicly humiliate me, when someone tries to set me up, when someone tries to destroy my character, I'm not reconciling with a snake. I keep my grass cut low. If I find a snake in my grass, I'm going to cut the head of the snake with a machete. I don't keep snakes in my garden. So I don't reconcile. No, I don't. The minute you do any of those things that I just mentioned, I'm not reconciling with you. I know who to reconcile with because I'm a spiritual being. I forgive everybody. That's what the Bible says. but I don't reconcile with everybody. And that's the part of my personality that scares people. That's why I always tell people, be very careful what you do to me, because I forgive everybody, but I don't reconcile with everybody. So you got to be very careful what you do. If you do something to me, make sure that you don't ever want to deal with me again, because you won't have the opportunity to. I don't believe in reconciliation. I only believe in forgiveness. I don't believe in reconciling with people. Love your page. Thank you. Once you set, once you set firm boundaries and they can't benefit from you, then you become their enemy. Yes, exactly. People don't like boundaries. Do you have any advice on someone close to you copying everything you do, even your Instagram name? They're jealous of you. You got to get away from that person and block them. They're jealous of you. How is possible that the major people I encounter at the end betray me? I'm loyal. Well, if people always betray you and you're loyal, maybe you're giving your loyalty to the wrong people. You can't meet people and just be loyal to them. You got to get to know people. People have to prove that they're not a piece of trash first. You don't just let people in. That's why earlier I was talking about intention. You don't just let people be a part of your life. You don't just give your relationship to people. You don't just give your conversation to people. People have to prove that they're quality before you give them all of that. I don't just people have to you have to qualify people. You don't just give your goodness. No, that's not how it works. The saddest thing about betrayal is that it never comes from your enemies. Your enemies are in your camp. Your enemies are always going to be people that are around you. It's not strangers. Well, that's a good girl. You always want to keep the snakes out your garden. I always keep my grass cut low. I don't keep snakes in my garden. That's why I meet people who are like, oh yeah, like, she's my friend, she's done this. I'm like, you're friends with a freaking snake. How do you go out and sit on a table and eat with an anaconda? A lot of people are anacondas. I've had so many people in my family, they're freaking anacondas. And I tell them, you guys are anacondas. And I'm not going to sit and talk with a freaking python. A lot of people, they're snakes. And you're going out to eat and you're sitting out having margaritas with a freaking serpent, a demonic serpent. A lot of people, they're pure demonic entities that reside in them. Once someone snakes me, you'll never get an opportunity to snake me again, because I don't reconcile. I forgive, but I don't reconcile. How do you deal with that in the workplace? You go to work, sweetie. You go to work to work. You don't go to work to. I think that a lot of you guys, and I'm not like trying to be mean, because I used to be that way too. So I'm not trying to be mean. Like, a lot of you guys need to start thinking about life in simple terms. Work is to make money so you can pay your bills. It's not about personal relations with people. That, like, sometimes you'll get lucky and be in a work environment that's like positive and everybody's nice and wonderful. Like, that exists. Where some workplaces are like everybody is family. That happens, because I've been to places like that. But a lot of you guys are you're taking it too personal. You got to just vibe out. But anyways, you guys, your lashes look so good. Thank you, sweetie. Anyways, you guys, I'm getting off because I have an appointment to run to, but I love you all so much. Thank you for joining the live. If you missed it and you want to watch this live from the beginning, you absolutely can go to my YouTube at Your Level Up Guru, and it'll be saved on the live page. But I love you guys. I will probably try to go on live again. No, I'll go on live again Sunday around 3 p.m. I will go on live. I love you guys, and I'll see you later on. Bye, guys. See you on Sunday. YouTube, I'm out of here. I'll also see you guys on Sunday. I got to run